Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gayatri and I just turned 30 years old. I'm old. But honestly, I'm grateful to be older because last year there were times where I thought I might not survive, so I'm grateful to be old. Now that I'm older, I'm just cool, relaxed, chill, nonchalant. Or at least I wish I was. But here are five things that I do not care about anymore. Let's get started. Number one, I don't care about being right all the time. I used to obsess over being right all the time that I kind of failed to realize that this was probably some sort of defense mechanism. It took me a long while see that this was a defense mechanism, and then it took me even further time to understand that I should probably explore why I needed this in the first place. I kept telling myself that if I'm right all the time, that it would keep me safe from any sort of attack. Like if I'm not wrong or if I'm not doing anything wrong, then no one can point fingers at me. It took me some time to realize that this might be counterproductive and that I don't have to be right all the time. Let's say I have improved. I'm not completely over it, but I think I don't care about it as much. I used to get really upset and worrisome if somebody points out, like, hey, that thing you said was actually wrong. And I would freak out, and not in a very normal way, in a very extreme sense. And I think people who are very close to me could notice that, and she's doing it again. And I tend to argue and try to prove my point. For the past few years, I have improved in the sense I'm less worried about it and give myself enough grace when I'm wrong, because it's impossible to be right all the time. Realistically, I do say things that are wrong, factually incorrect, morally incorrect. I do behave in ways that I wouldn't consider right, but I've told myself it's fine, it's not the end of the world. As long as I'm not hurting anyone, it doesn't really matter. And sometimes you're just wrong, and that's okay. I think what's more important is how willing you are to accept it and what are you going to do about it instead of being right in the first go. Number 2, I'm actually a bit nervous for this one, but yeah, it's fine. I don't care as much about my parents' approval or opinion of me as I used to. Yeah, my mom's definitely gonna watch this one. This was actually a very difficult pill to swallow, even for me and everyone else around me. I'm not here to unload all of my family dynamic. I did grow up with a lot of praise versus shame, very standard Indian parenting. And because of that, even as an adult, I would depend on it. Like my parents had to approve of everything I did in my head. It kind of started becoming obsessive in a way. I didn't realize this until like early 20s that I was doing this to myself. Like my mom would say something and I would freak out. And then it got to a point where I had to like stop and be like, why? Why am I upset that she had an opinion? I mean, she's also an adult. She's allowed to have opinions, and not all of them need to agree with me. I know this factually, but when it comes to any scenario, I'm like, I'm hyperventilating because my mom said something that I didn't agree with, or she didn't agree with me in some way. And then I again took many years for me to understand that this is not good for me or our relationship, that I have to stop obsessing over whether they're disappointed in me or not. And I think I'm getting there. It's really tough, but I think I'm getting there because now a lot of the times, even though my initial instinct is to just people please, I do try my best to stop myself and like, wait, why are you doing this? Is it because you really want to, or is it because you're afraid someone will be disappointed? Safe to say that I think it's kind of working. I'm not as worried about their disappointment. I think they're pretty disappointed in my behavior, and that's okay. It's fine. Like their opinion of me doesn't completely change my opinion of myself. Or I've even got to a point where I feel like it doesn't even harm our relationship. I used to think it would. Now I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's fine. They can be disappointed in me and still love me, and I can do the same for them. Congratulations. Number 3, I don't care as much about being perfect in the roles I play. Now, a lot of these points are interconnected. These tendencies of people pleasing and obsessing over opinion and things like that are definitely have something to do with each other. But I'm trying to be less obsessed over how good I am at a role. For example, I'm a mother, I have a kid. I used to worry so much about being or at least appearing perfect. And I'm like, I can't make a mistake. I can't make a mistake. Now I have realized that I will make a mistake, that it's inevitable. We're doing this for the first time. Even I think for the second time or third time, fourth time, parents do make mistakes. It's how you will show up afterwards. So I can't stop myself from making mistakes. I can't be perfect. It's completely ridiculous to think I can, but I used to worry about it so much, and then later I would see another mom do like thrice as much as I'm doing. I'm like, oh, man. I compare and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going to be at that level ever." And I would beat myself up about it. I have completely stopped doing that. Now I openly tell people that I feed my kids leftovers. Why did I say kids? I don't have two, I only have one. I tell people that I feed my kid leftovers. And they're like, leftovers? No, let's just call it meal prepping. It sounds better. I'm like, yeah, I should try it. Just it's fun, it's easy, convenient, and nobody is upset and overworked. Sometimes it's not received as well, but most other times it's received pretty well. I used to be so afraid to say that out loud because I thought if I feed my kid rice from yesterday, everyone would think I'm a horrible mom. I personally did not believe this, but I was so worried others would believe this. And then I'm obsessed with others' opinion of me. So, yeah. To be honest, when I say this out loud now, not many people care that much. A lot of people are very understanding and they're like, yeah, it makes sense. It's so busy and it's already a lot of work, and they just get it. And I'm like, yeah. A lot of my obsessions and fears were things I had made up in my own mind, probably from a lot of past experiences or childhood experiences. I have built up an idea that this is how it's going to be, and I don't even give myself a chance to think otherwise. These past 2 years have been, in a way, a shedding of all those preconceived notions. And honestly, it's quite liberating. I realized that I didn't have to worry so much. I feel like a complete idiot saying that out loud because now it sounds very obvious, but honestly, it wasn't. And this was just an example about being a mother. This applies to literally everything else, like being a daughter or a sibling or a wife. In every role I play, I have given myself permission to be less perfect. Not that I was, but now there's no expectation. And I'm like, yeah, this is good. Number four, I don't care about appearing shallow or vain. Let me explain. So, I grew up denying a lot of my feminine side. Like, I liked a lot of girly things, but I told myself that I didn't. At some point, I think around middle school, I would tell everyone else that I wanted to be a boy. I don't know why. Maybe it's my cool girl face, where you keep denying your femininity just so you will appear cool in front of everyone else. But as I grew, it got to a point where, oh, who am I kidding? I like girly things. But then at that stage, I used to be a bit embarrassed about it. Like, I kept feeling like it made me uncool somehow. And it progressed as I grew up. Like, the older I got, the more girly things I liked, or I realized I liked. And there was always this conflict. It's probably because a lot of feminine interests are depicted as useless and vain and shallow. So I was afraid, like, obviously, who wants to appear shallow? Even people who appear shallow don't want to appear shallow. Because the things I liked were associated with negative character traits, I would be in complete denial or at least be embarrassed. And it did not help that I got married early, and knowingly or unknowingly, we play very traditional roles in this marriage, even though our ideologies are not very traditional. I remember in the early years of my marriage, there was so much mental conflict, as in, I'm doing things that are typically associated with women and I didn't mind doing them exactly. I kept feeling like, does this make me less of a feminist? Mind you, this was at a time where people who would claim to be feminists, who aligned themselves with such ideologies to be like, I don't cook, I don't clean, I won't do anything, because if I do these things, it means I'm kind of succumbing to patriarchy. And thankfully, the conversation around that has changed. Instead of saying that feminists will not cook or clean, now it's like cooking and cleaning is a basic skill that, irrespective of your gender, you should be able to do to take care of yourself or anyone who depends on you. It took me even further years to be like, you know what? I'm giving up. You can judge me if you want. You can think I'm less of a feminist. You can think whatever you want. I'm just going to live my life. And then it took further time to be like, you know what? I like shallow things as well. A lot of my hobbies can be considered vain. A lot of my interests can be considered vain. I am obsessed with my hair and nails. Sadly, I don't have a great nail set because I'm busy. Anyways, when I tell people I spend like 4 hours on a nail set, why? As if it's quite useless. And in some ways, I get how it can be seen as useless because if you have no interest, obviously it seems useless, but it makes me happy. Okay, I like girly things. I like doing my hair and my nails. I like buying clothes. I like decorating my house. I like making my life aesthetic. And what's the point? No, there is no point. That is the point. It's meant to have no purpose other than it makes you happy. And honestly, I'm glad I like shallow things because those are the only things you have 100% control over. Like my health, I'm trying my absolute best, but I have no control over it. And my business, again, there's way too many external factors that's just not in my hands anymore. I'm raising a kid, again, you can only try your best. So the only thing you have full power over, shallow things. Okay, like dressing up. Like I get to decide how I want to do my hair. I get to decide if I want to spend 4 hours on a nail set. Okay. These are the only things that I have control over. And in last year, there were times where it was the only thing I had any control over. My life was completely spiraling, and all I can do is blow dry my hair and wear nice clothes. So I did that, and it did give me a sense of some authority over my own life. So if any of my interests look shallow or vain, I don't care. Last one. Number five, I don't care about being happy all the time. Of course, I'm not saying I don't enjoy being happy. Come to realize that it's unrealistic to be happy all the time. I used to care about it so much. I used to worry. Like, whenever I'd be sad, I'm like, this is uncomfortable. Like, I can manage those feelings only for like half a day. And then I'd get really uncomfortable and just bury it. As a youngster, I used to think, oh, I'm really good at moving on. Like, no matter what would hit me in life, I'm like, I can move on from it in like 2 days. I used to be proud of that. Yeah, it took me 10, 15, 20 years to realize that I don't move on from things, I just bury them. Yeah, I didn't realize that there was any difference. I thought this is what people do. And I was pretty good at it. I would bury all of my feelings, anything that would make me uncomfortable, 6 feet under. If I'm not feeling happy, I would get worked up. And last 2 years have been, what do you say, real life. It got really tough, and most days I was unhappy, sad, upset, or angry instead of happy. And my god, let's say I had enough time to get used to it. I'm not saying I actively want to be sad and melancholic all the time. I'm okay with it. It just do be like that. I'm sorry, my millennial is showing. But I have gotten to a point where I am comfortable with these feelings. I allow myself to feel really angry. Did my voice just crack? I allow myself to be really angry, really sad for days on end if I need to. I'm not pursuing these feelings purposefully. They're just there and I don't bury them anymore. I can sit with them. Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing to admit, but you would think, what a fucking idiot do you have to be to not know this already? I don't know. But yeah, I have finally learned how to process my emotions. I don't know if I'm still doing it 100% right, but we don't care about that. We don't care about being right. I'm trying. I've given myself permission to be sad, just as I would give myself permission to be happy and excited. Some days I'm sad, some days I'm happy, and I'm completely okay with it. I got to a phase where I was sad for several days and months, and I got really upset because I was waiting to go back to being just happy and nothing else. I was waiting like this would end today, tomorrow. Come on, someday it was going to end. And now I don't do that anymore. So if I'm sad for 5 days in a row, I'm like, 5 days happy in a row. I'm not going to stop myself, be like, oh, it's too much happiness. Let's stop. No. So why would you do that to other feelings? It'd be nice if I felt happy more, but it's okay that I don't. So I guess this is what growing up looks like. For a very long time, even when the number as in my age went up, I didn't feel any different. Like every year a birthday would pass, I'm like, and I'm like, I don't feel any older. Let's say the last 2 years hit me like a truck, and I definitely feel very different. I don't really care about the number itself, but I can see a real difference in how I view life, how I view myself, and the people around me, and my relationships as such. So, as a child, you might look at growing up as a very cool and amazing experience, like I get to be older. But it's honestly not. It's quite uncomfortable and sometimes painful, even. As much as I hated the process of it, I think it's safe to say I like the results. Yeah, do feel very different from who I used to be 2 years ago, and I like myself better, which also kind of gives me hope that in the next 10 years there will definitely be even more growth, which sadly I'm coming to terms with the fact that also might be painful or uncomfortable at least, but I'm sure I like the end result of it. So here's to growing older. Not everyone gets to. Tell me how old you are in the comments. Tell me what is your experience of growing older. Do you like being 30 or did you like being a child? Comment down below. And please subscribe. I will be uploading new videos. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.